Shalom, family. Good to see everybody here. Hope you're doing well. Well, we're going to talk about Donald Trump and the Epstein files that he is not going to release. But you know what, y'all? If you really reflect back, when Donald Trump and Elon Musk fell out, Elon said Donald Trump was all over the Epstein files. And Donald Trump is acting like a very guilty man. And he was saying, I was watching a video this morning. He was saying, I don't even know why people are still talking about this. It's boring. I said, oh my goodness, this dude, is he for real? So I was watching a video over the weekend, and it was saying that Donald Trump, and I'm going to show this article to you. Let me see if I can share my screen. And somebody had said, and I believe it was Morning Joe. I watched a couple of them. And it was said that Donald Trump allowed Jeffrey Epstein to recruit these underage girls at Mar-a-Lago. And I was like, what? So I said, let me go look this up and look into it. And sure enough, the articles are out there. Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were tight. I mean, like very close. And Jeffrey Epstein was at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump a lot. And yeah, they said these young girls would be down there and they would get recruited at Mar-a-Lago. So, but see, when this all came up during Donald Trump's first term, if you remember, y'all, Donald Trump said he didn't even know Jeffrey Epstein. After he made that remark, people started posting pictures of him all over the internet with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, you went from not knowing who this person is to having him at Mar-a-Lago recruiting underage girls. I don't know what's going on, y'all, but Donald Trump is acting like a very guilty person to me. And Elon Musk, he may be a pathological liar. I absolutely believe that. But I think he's telling the truth about Donald Trump on the Epstein files. I don't think he lied about that. That's probably the one thing Elon Musk told the truth about, was Donald Trump being all over the Epstein file. Now, what does this mean? It means Donald Trump's ass should be in jail, especially if he was doing that mess down in Mar-a-Lago for Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump should be behind bars. Okay? And it's not the first time we heard dirt like this on Donald Trump, y'all. If you remember when the Diddy, all that stuff came out about Diddy, what also came out was a lot of those freak offs that Diddy had was at Donald Trump's hotel in New York. Okay? That also came out. So Donald Trump is acting like somebody guilty as hell, as far as I'm concerned. And this man, just knowing this stuff, he shouldn't even be eligible to be a president at all. Yeah, that's pedophile mess. Not just Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump too. Okay? No, he don't want it released because he knows how bad it looks for him. And his supporters, they ain't having it. Do y'all know they are having a meltdown saying if he don't release these files, they're not supporting him ever again? Donald Trump said all over the campaign trail, if you go back and look at his videos, he said he was going to release the Epstein file. And this is the lie he told. He was going to release it because it was Democrats all over it. Now, do I believe some Democrats might have been rubbing elbows with Jeffrey Epstein? Yes. But I think what Donald Trump did was far worse and far exceeds anything in that report. And apparently, from the time Elon spent time with Donald Trump, he found something out. Because if you remember, after he left, that was one of the first things he brought up. Donald Trump was all over this. And I believe it. I believe it. So you allowed him to recruit girls from Mar-a-Lago. That says a lot right there. That sure don't look innocent. So I also have a video I want you to see. Where's the video? Do I have that? All right, hold on, y'all. I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, I'm gonna show this video. But Donald Trump is literally telling his MAGA folks if they don't like him not releasing the Epstein files, he's telling them he don't want their support no more. That's what he's saying. He is kicking them to the curb if they don't accept the fact that he don't want to release these Epstein files, so they can kick rocks as far as he's concerned. And I'm like, wow, you really taken this to a whole different level there. Okay, I'll show this one. All right, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Boy, if those files, because the Democrats and House Speaker Mike Johnson, he wants it released, and Donald Trump is mad at him too. See, he's mad at anybody that's demanding that these files be released. And Pam Bondi, his um, attorney general, kicked out of her job because she's literally covering up for Donald Trump. And what she's doing is also very serious. These were underage girls. And her sitting on this whole thing, she's really an accomplice now. So I don't know what kind of attorney she is that would do something like this, but she should be thrown out of her job. All right, y'all, let's get started.
Donald Trump is furious, not at Democrats, but at his own supporters over the Jeffrey Epstein story. So, for years now, Trump has promised to release Jeffrey Epstein's client list if he became president again. It's the list of the powerful people allegedly tied to Epstein's human trafficking ring. Then, about a month ago, Trump's own attorney general said she's got the list. It's on her desk. She's reviewing it and she's releasing it shortly. A week ago, supporters are going, okay, where's the list? The White House says, there's no list. And they're like, what do you mean there's no list? He goes, no, there's no list. There's nothing to release. And they're like, well, she said it was on her desk. Well, Trump then this weekend flip-flopped again and said, oh, there's a list, but it's fake news. It was created by President Obama and the Democrats, and it's fake, so I'm not going to release it, which, let's be honest, pretty much screams that the list implicates Donald Trump himself. Today, Trump is lashing out again. In a scorched earth social media post this morning, Trump called MAGA outrage over Epstein bullshit and a scam by Democrats. He said his own MAGA critics were, quote, past supporters who'd bought the Epstein lie hook, line, and sinker. And he doesn't even want their support anymore. Mind you, Trump's the one who sold his supporters on the Epstein files to begin with. He's the one who kept promising in the election, I'm going to release them. So this morning, Trump tells a reporter that the Epstein story was, quote, pretty boring stuff and that only really bad people want to know more. Let's watch the video.
But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. Really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that.
Now, Trump is, of course, using his old playbook. When something looks bad, blame the Democrats. But here's the twist. The backlash started inside his own MAGA base. Many feel betrayed, and Democrats only piled on afterwards once they smelled political blood in the water. Trump is betting he can convince his followers of anything and that they'll stick with him no matter what. But calling your own base weaklings and saying only really bad people care about Epstein, that's a risky move even for Trump. So what do you think? Is Trump hiding something big, or is this yet another diversion away from an even bigger scandal? Because a great nation deserves the truth. I'm John Aravosis reporting from Washington.
We have some crazy breaking news. Trump just turned on his own supporters again, but this time it's worse. In a new post, Trump called the Jeffrey Epstein case a hoax, compared it to Russia, and said he's done with MAGA who bring it up. I'm going to quote this real quick. My past supporters have bought into this, I'm going to say BS. I don't want their support anymore. That is crazy. Trump is now saying that anyone demanding the Epstein list is actually doing the Democrats' work and calling them weaklings. He's calling his MAGA supporters weaklings. This comes just days after Laura Trump said even more Epstein documents might be released, and weeks after Trump's allies spent months promising bombshell files. So why the sudden flip? Trump's being booed at games, he's facing bipartisan pressure to release documents, and even his own base is starting to turn on him for protecting the powerful and not children. Rather than answering questions, he's calling the whole thing fake and calling out the people who used to back him. And that's the real story here, guys. And my question is, are his followers just going to get back in line and say, yes, sir? Or are they going to continue demanding what is right? My name is Jared Zisser. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Substack for all breaking news, all updates, and the full story.
They're mad, not confused, furious. So Trump tries to pivot. First, he called the Epstein list fake, a liberal smear by Clinton, Obama, and Biden somehow. But people aren't buying it anymore. We've all seen the photos. The flight logs show his name. He called Epstein a terrific guy. Then Pam Bondi chimed in. Back in February, she said the list was on her desk. Fast forward to July 7th, the DOJ and FBI said, no client list exists, just sealed victim material. So Bondi backtracked, claiming she meant the general case file, not a secret list. That reversal infuriated his core. And major influencers are calling for Bondi's head. Other MAGA influencers are just calling out the betrayal. So how does Trump respond? The same way he always does, distractions. Threatens to strip Rosie O'Donnell of her citizenship because he doesn't like her. The craziest one, he hijacked the FIFA World Cup final. He posed with the trophy, blocked players, and then he was booed alive. Oh yeah, and then he stole the trophy. Like, who does that without looking for a headline? That was pretty obvious. He's trying to pivot the story, but this time it's not working. His base is way too angry, too woke. If you believe that, Republicans are becoming woke. So if you've been posting, replying, shouting, this is proof that it matters. You're watching a cult fracture in real time. So my call to action, stitch this, comment it, share it, save it, because MAGA is finally asking, why was Trump so close to Epstein for so long? And maybe more importantly, why is he going all in to try to make you forget it?
Listen to what Donald Trump just said moments ago in the White House about the Epstein files.
All of the things we've done, including the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
Dear MAGA, Trump just called you stupid. What are you going to do about it? Is it obvious to you yet that Donald Trump is hiding the Epstein files because his name is in the Epstein files?
Trump is panicking again over Epstein. So he starts his post off with his greatest fucking hits. We got Russia, Russia, Russia. We got the Hunter Biden laptop. We got crooked Hillary Clinton. We got the fake Democrats aren't good at anything. My man. Then calling the entire Jeffrey Epstein case a hoax by Democrats when it was your own followers that made this conspiracy what it is today. Your followers. He also called out his past supporters that bought into this bullshit. So he's throwing his past supporters and current supporters all under the bus. It is truly remarkable to see him this panicked still about Epstein. Never let the foot off the gas. Oh, and what's this? Just yesterday, Wire reported that nearly 3 minutes were removed and stitched together in the supposed raw video that exonerated any sense of Epstein did not kill himself, and there's nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. They're in full-blown cover-up mode. Keep the foot on the fucking gas. What do y'all think? Comment below.
MAGA, y'all really did it now. Y'all really pissed your daddy off. Listen to what he had to say. The radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again, just like the fake and fully discredited Still Dozier, the lying 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which the Dems swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. And even the Russia scams itself. A totally fake and made up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 presidential election. These scams and hoax are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They are no good at governing, no good at policy, and no good at picking winning candidates. Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this bullshit, hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 years. I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. And all these people want to talk about, with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems, is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again.
The one thing you need to know about politics today is that the drama over the Epstein files is not going anywhere. Now, you may remember that Epstein was a convicted child sex offender. He died in jail. There's a question of whether he committed suicide or whether he was actually just killed in jail. He had a lot of high-powered friends. A lot of well-known politicians, in fact, associated themselves with him. Not so much anymore, of course. Now, last week, the Department of Justice said, case closed. There's no client list, nothing to see here. Well, that got MAGA up in arms because Donald Trump, a lot of the right have been essentially pushing the theory, the conspiracy theory, that a lot of the high-powered people on an Epstein client list who, traffic women and young girls are high-powered politicians, especially Democrats. However, and actually I should say that several months ago, when some of the files were released, Bondi also said, I have the client list on my desk. And now she's saying there is no client list. There was a video that was released, and then came out that video was edited. So all of these things are sparking some confusion, and perhaps you could even say distrust amongst the MAGA crowd regarding Donald Trump. They're starting to question, hey, why is he, standing behind Bondi and saying, yeah, there's nothing to see here, when he told everyone to not believe the government and institutions just a few months ago and push for, quote unquote, the truth. So it's a very interesting turn of events. The deputy FBI director, Bongino, was apparently very upset about the way that Bondi's handled this. He didn't show up to work on Friday. Apparently he is back at work, but drama seems like it is not going to end anytime soon. That's your one thing.
Democrats are screaming about inflation and losing our rights. And it's actually Republicans in my district who are going nuts over wanting these files released. I've never seen anything like it. And so I think what it is that they've put up with Trump's BS for so long that they've just snapped, that he feels this sense of betrayal, as Michael alluded to. So the way Democrats see it is this. Obviously, Donald Trump is not going to release this. Elon Musk has told us why. Kash Patel is not going to be fired by Donald Trump. He's just going to go all in for him and help bury these files beneath the earth. Republicans, though, who don't work for Donald Trump, who are their own branch of government in Congress, they have a subpoena power. And if they're not going to use it, as Leader Jeffries has said, Democrats are open to receiving this information and going as far as we can, and also promising in a majority that we will unearth what the public deserves to know.
Why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled? Why do you think that is?
Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things. All that information was fed. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say let them have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if they're able to get those files released, this is my opinion. This story right here is going to be way bigger than Diddy. And the reason why I'm saying this is because of all the underage teens that were involved. Now they're saying it was a lot of abuse, abuse. And yes, there's politicians, athletes, it's people from every walk of life that are wealthy involved in this. And Donald Trump is knee deep in it because he was besties with Jeffrey Epstein. And he's been lying every step of the way. And the fact that he told his people on the campaign trail he was going to release everything about the Epstein files. And now that he's the sitting president, he is trying to bury it. And they're screaming and hollering right now. It's a lot of division going on between him and his supporters. And like I said, he's now telling his supporters that want the files released that he don't want their support anymore. And yeah, Donald Trump sounds like a very guilty man to me. And do I think he was involved even with those girls? Yes. Yes. If you're going to let somebody recruit underage teens at Mar-a-Lago, oh no, your ass is knee deep in it. And if they're able to get this thing released, I think Donald Trump's presidency is going to be over. And he knows it. He knows it. That's why he's doing everything he can to block this thing. And if those files come to light, y'all, like I said, Diddy is going to look like small potatoes compared to this story right here. For real. So this is what I wanted to show y'all. Donald Trump is all in front of the cameras talking about, oh, it's nothing to see here. It's nothing to see here. Well, obviously, it must be something if you're blocking it. If you're blocking it from going public, it must be plenty to see in that thing. And how do you say there's no list when a list was already published, you know, that was out there in 2023? It had a list that the media in this country posted. Now, some of the names were redacted, you know, some of the names were blacked out, but there was definitely a list. So it went from being a list to having no list to, no, I'm not going to release anything about it. And I think that is because Donald Trump is in there more than anyone else. And he doesn't want anybody to see that. But the way I see it, y'all, they dragged Diddy all through the mud and wanted every detail out about it when it came down to the freak offs and all the abuse he was doing. Then why can't Donald Trump be, all the stuff be pulled out about that case and Donald Trump and his role in it? How you going to drag the black man, but you want to keep the white man safe? No, bring it all out. That's the way I see it. Bring it all out. No, there should be some kind of way for them to subpoena those files and get them out publicly. That these times of always letting them get away with it, but somebody like Diddy can't get away with it. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it. And it's going to be even worse for him. Diddy, he was just a celebrity, okay? And he ran a record label. Well, Donald Trump is a whole damn president of a country. This stuff will go out worldwide. And like I said, Donald Trump, if he is still the president after this stuff come out, I don't believe he will. And I think he knows it will end his presidency if this stuff comes out. So that's where I stand, So I'm sure we'll all draw our own opinions in conclusion, but it should be out there. No, don't put Diddy out there and then hide Donald Trump. Daryl Johnston, thank you for becoming a channel new member of my channel. Thank you so much. Ocean Soul, thank you for your super sticker. And Monica Gregory, thank you for your super sticker and support for my channel. I deeply appreciate it. So y'all, did y'all hear about, thank you, Brittany James, for bringing up JD Vance. Well, I think it was Sunday. JD Vance and his wife went to a restaurant for dinner. They got into a big public argument in the restaurant out in public. They said it was a very bad argument they got into at this restaurant. So, and I was like, wow, that really looks bad for your VP to be cussing his wife out in public and they getting back and forth. Yep, that they said it happened on Sunday at a restaurant. They were having dinner and an argument broke out between them. And it was a very public, very loud argument they had in public. So yeah, so it's yep, they said it was a pretty bad argument they had. And I had heard a few months back that their marriage really wasn't all that great, and they were barely hanging on. Their marriage has been in a bad way for quite some time. But yes. Yep. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I want to thank you for being here. Now, I may have one more live a little later on, and that one is people complaining about the gas and food prices. So I will probably do, if I do that, it'll probably be, I would say, like between 8:30 and 9 o'clock tonight. So I hope you all can be there, because I will look forward to that. Shalom, family.